All right. I don't know what to say. Okay. Hi, guys. Hi, UHS. Welcome back to the new and improved podcast. We are here with my lovely friends who will introduce themselves in a minute. We are so excited for today's podcast. We're going to be talking about mental health and well-being. Will everyone introduce themselves? Oh, I'll start. I'm Joanna Estrada.
I'm Mariam, but everybody knows me as MJ.
I'm Kenneth Dorsey. Everybody calls me Dorsey.
I'm Ava Bush. Everybody calls me Ava.
And we have a few questions we're going to be answering. We really want to, mental health is such a big topic nowadays, and so we want to really just kind of get into it and give you guys resources and just kind of talk about it because it's a topic that needs to be talked about. So we have a few questions that we're going to ask, and I'm going to go ahead and ask my first question, which is, if you were talking to your younger self, what advice would you give them?
I mean, I would probably give my younger self, tell them, like, it's okay to be yourself. Like, you don't have to change for anybody else or anything to feel loved or welcomed in any situation. Like, just be yourself. Like, the right person or right people will come along and you'll feel 10 times better.
That's really good.
Good.
You can barely hear you can.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
you gotta get up
You're a
close.
little, you're a little far.
Okay, I will go then.
Even though I don't want to hear you speak, but
If it was my younger self, if I was talking to my younger self, I'll just tell them to just be still, be calm, just be you out there. Just be different the world around you, to be honest, because this world is different.
Right.
To be
Right.
honest, you got to be you, be yourself.
right,
That's what I would tell them.
Yeah.
right. I really like that. I really like what you said, Ava.
I'd say that like it's okay to say no. Don't feel bad saying no because you're gonna have to. You'll be more miserable in the end if you are doing something you don't want to do
Yeah,
than if you were to just say no and get it over with.
yeah. I really like that. I'm very similar to you. I want to tell them it's okay to have boundaries. You know, a lot of times, like, I was always a people pleaser, and so learning to set those boundaries has been really helpful with my mental health. And you got to do what you got to do at the end of the day. You got to prioritize yourself. So setting those boundaries and, if they don't really respect your boundaries, that's on them.
Right, you got to make sure
And then
you're good first before you try to help anybody else.
Exactly,
Like,
exactly.
yourself comes first.
Yes, yes. All right. Are we ready for the next question?
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
What did you learn from your first heartbreak?
Who want to take this one?
So I've never had my heart broken, but I've definitely been hurt. But it's like the same thing as the other question. Like, you have to make sure that you come first.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody, like, people will be there for you, but not until the end. People will be there for you, but the only person there till the end for you is yourself.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
there
Yeah.
we go. Yeah.
Yeah. I really like that.
Yeah.
Someone on this side?
I just learned, what I learned is that you have to, I guess, know what you want. You can't go in there head first, like thinking, oh, yeah, I know this is what I want. No, you have to know what you want and prioritize and set boundaries on what you need and what you want from that relationship. Because if you don't, then you're going to end up hurt or the
Right.
other person is hurt and y'all are going to end up like arguing all the time 24/7.
Right.
So just when you begin to start dating, so you won't have to break up or it's a healthy relationship, learn to communicate situations and problems with each other and learn what you like and what you don't like with each other. Communication is a big key when it comes to that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
That is something. From my first heartbreak, it was.
Get closer, Kenneth.
Hold on.
We want to hear you.
From my first heartbreak, it was like I had to learn that you have to put yourself first before anybody else, because like if you don't love yourself, then how would you love the other before
Right?
anything else? And then if you don't love yourself, it would just fall and everything would just fall after that. Like it would just bring you down, bring yourself down, and just bring your other person down as well, because you don't know what to do if you don't love yourself at all. Pretty much.
That's really good. I would say not lowering your standards, because a lot of the times, like I said, I was a people pleaser. So it's kind of like I would want them to be happy with me. And so I would do things that, I wouldn't, that's not really my morals or whatever. But just not lowering your standards, having your, like again, setting your boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
You know, having what you want and having your standards.
Yeah,
Right.
like learning what you will and won't put up with,
Exactly.
and like sticking to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't bend.
Don't bend.
Right. Like
I
you-
love that. Don't
Yeah.
bend. I really like that. You guys should tweet that. Don't bend. Hashtag.
Don't bend.
Hashtag don't bend, Ava Bush. That's a good one. All right. This next question is, how do people around you affect your mental health?
Oh,
Probably say from basketball, it's like the energy around anybody affects that. Like it could be if we're down, like everybody would be down no matter what, and they'll start to get angry. So it would just fall
Yep.
apart, and we won't be locked in at all. That's like how everybody is. That's how like school is, to be honest. Like whoever you hang around with,
that's what their
that's what
energy
you-
is. That's what your
Yeah.
energy is going to be.
Yeah.
And that's how it's going to affect you. Really, energy is key to anything and all that you do, because you have to surround yourself with the right people in the right environment, so you won't feel so all the time.
Right.
Like, even like what Kenneth said, like even in school, like just people's different energies and stuff kind of just meshes with your own, and so you just feel tired and exhausted all the time because you're trying to keep up with that and yours, even though it shouldn't be a job just to come to school.
Like if
Right,
somebody's having
like
a
a
bad
chore.
day, then you feel their bad day too.
Right, like it's not fun and so tiring.
and it could be those negative eaters. Like
Right.
if they want you to be sad, if they're sad, they want you to be sad.
Yeah.
I
It's
like
like
that
the
word though.
lose-
They
Negative
want you to-
eaters. That's a
they
good
The
want
one.
lose
you-
lose,
yeah.
like the
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
Lose lose.
They want you to fall with them. Like they want you to be
Exactly.
down with them. They don't want you to win.
Right.
Mhm.
They don't want you to succeed until they succeed. And that should never be like the way it should be. But that's people today.
I feel like a lot of people forget that your energy matters. Like not
Right.
everyone else's, but like if you make sure your energy is good,
You'll be good. Like
Yeah.
you'll bring those good people around you.
Exactly.
And you should be fine.
Yeah.
But no, people, it's like right now it's just like I gotta get myself together. And that's what everybody's mental process is. But they don't know that they're also hurting the person that is trying to be there for them. If that makes sense.
no, yeah.
So
And I kind of want to switch the question because like if you know that your energy affects other people, like you're gonna want to
Right.
have good energy.
exactly.
Because I'm gonna want to be like, as many people know me, like if you know me personally, you know I'm very bubbly, and my goal is not just to like make others feel bad, but I want them to like be as like kind of positive.
Yeah, because
as
you
I
can
try
also
to be.
pass
Yeah.
that energy as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I stay as peppy as I am, because I really like to just make sure that if you're having a bad day, you know, if you're not doing the best mentally, that you have either someone to rely on or someone that can make you laugh and just, you know, forget about your problems for a second.
Yeah.
I think that's so important.
That's a good one though.
Yeah.
But energy eater right there. I like that one. That
No,
was
he
a-
said negative eaters. I love that.
Yeah, that was a good one. I like that one.
Because, I mean, they eat, they drain you. So it's
Right.
kind of like, I mean, I know if I'm hanging around negative people, by the time I'm done hanging around them, like,
Right.
I'm
You just want to take
Exhausted.
a nap.
I'm drained, exhausted. Like you're
just wanna
physically exhausted. I think that's crazy because it doesn't just affect you mentally, but it affects you physically. Isn't that
Like
crazy?
you just want to sleep.
like you just want to sleep. Literally,
Right.
it really does. I mean, that's so crazy to think about how your energy and your emotions can affect someone's physical health as well.
Right. And it's not a joke either. Some people like will laugh about that stuff,
Right.
but like it's so serious. It's like it's real.
It really is. It really is.
Mhm.
That's a really good question. The next one is: does comparison affect you? How and why?
Oh, okay. That one's a good one. That's a really good one. I mean,
I'll say it does affect you in positive way or a different way. It depends how you take it, to be honest. Like social media, like
yep.
if you look at anything of that, like that'll just bring you down. That's why, like, what did somebody say to me? I saw it on TikTok somewhere. It was like comparison is a killer of all joy. So like,
Mm.
if you just compare yourself with anybody, that's gonna kill your joy, kill your self-esteem, kill your motivation, no matter what you're trying to do. So like, all I can say is like, you can't compare yourself to others. You gotta compare yourself right now and who you are today.
Right.
Yeah, like riffing off what Kenneth said, like it is a stealer of joy because you're just like you see what you want but you can't achieve that because you're putting yourself down.
Right.
And it's more of the fact of that should be like a reason to want to do it, not
It
like
should be motivation.
right. It should a reason, your motivation to do it, instead of just being like, oh well, this is how I want to be, or this is how I want to look. Oh, I'm not going to do it because I can never achieve that. No, that should be your goal. That should be something you want to set yourself like to do, so you can do it.
Like, I will do this, and I will.
Like yeah,
Like, you have to just change your mindset.
exactly. But
Change your mindset. Ava, you're just spitting quotes today.
No, I'm just in deep thought over here. That's
Deep
why
thought,
I'm not
I
very
love that.
talkative.
I love that though. I really think that it goes both ways, like positive. Like you can use that to motivate yourself, or you could use that to kind of like ruin your mental health, because you're comparing yourself to like some things that are out of your control. So I think it's like good to like motivate yourself. Like I want to be like that person because I want to like have good grades. I want to do this and that. But there's also like that motivation, or other people compare you, and you take that to heart.
Yep.
So I really think that it's kind of like both ways, negative and positive.
Yeah, especially when you're getting compared by by people that you really deeply care about.
Yes.
And they sometimes they do it in a negative way, trying to motivate you and don't know it.
Right.
But you take it as a negative way because of the way they word it. And wording is everything.
Wording is everything.
So it's like when you do get compared to people by people that you love or you care about, it kind of takes a toll on you. Like, oh, well, I'm not good enough for them, so I should change.
Right.
Even though that's not what you should do. It's just you should just find something inside yourself to grow. Just, you know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to be on no Dr. Phil moment right now.
No, yeah, you make sense though.
Yeah.
All right, so those were our questions. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back with a special guest to give you guys resources for our mental health. All right, and we are back with a special guest. I'll have her introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Jessica Hogaboom, and I'm the district lead counselor here at Union Public Schools.
Awesome. We just want to invite you just to kind of get some resources, because Union is such a great school and it has a lot of resources, and a lot of us don't know what those resources are. So we want to, get that information out for either you or your loved one or someone you may know that needs it.
Awesome. I'm happy to talk about this, and I loved hearing your conversation earlier. It's just such an important topic to talk about. Right. And we're really, really blessed and fortunate here at Union to have a lot of mental health resources available to students. One of the biggest resources that we have are our school counselors.
Yeah.
We have 9 school counselors here just in this building alone, and 37 across the district.
Wow.
But we also have the REACH program, which is our LPCs. They're our mental health professionals, and our school counselors can help students get in contact with embedded services such as Family and Children's and CREOCs, for those who need a little extra support. So I think that any student who's ever having any type of mental health, it doesn't even have to be a crisis. They just want someone extra to talk to. Start with your school counselor.
Right. I believe, because we talked to her before this podcast, but I believe you mentioned that the evaluation.
Sure. So that's another thing your school counselor can help you with is, for some students, they need a little extra. And it might be getting you in contact with like a community partner. So one of the things that you might be referred to is like YES, which is Youth Evaluation Services. And it's a free service that's available here in the Tulsa area for anybody who's just needing a mental health evaluation. And so they can help give you the information for that. Or there's also COPES, and those are more for crisis situations, whether you're at home, at school, any type of crisis situation that you're having, you can call COPES. Again, that's a free service that's available here in Tulsa, and it's available 24/7.
That's really good. Does anyone have a question before I talk the entire time? No, Ava?
In my head.
Okay, so I guess I'll talk. I did want to know, what would you recommend we do in situations where maybe our parents aren't completely on board with getting help?
Yeah, it's tricky sometimes. That's whenever you kind of have to get somebody else involved. And again, whether that's the school counselor or a REACH counselor or one of your a therapist that you're seeing through one of those embedded services like CREOCs or Family and Children's, they could just help mediate those tough conversations. And they're professionally trained in that. All counselors have at least a master's level degree in conflict resolution, mediation, and just mental health.
Right.
So they can help with those tough conversations.
That's really good. I also think that just kind of finding support, right?
Yeah.
So I really liked. Can we hear more about that that second program, the one with the C? Creoaks.
Oh, yeah,
My
sure.
memory's bad.
So Creoaks is like Family and Children's. So they're not employees of Union. They work for Creoaks. So they're licensed professional counselors, and they only do mental health.
Mm-hmm.
So the way it works is if you go to your school counselor, you say, hey, I'd like to receive therapy services within the school. They will send a referral for Creoaks or Family and Children's, and then that therapist would reach out to you and to your family and get that set up to where you would be. It basically makes it to where you don't have to leave and go see a counselor.
Mm-hmm.
You get that in the school. So they have offices here, and they just send a pass for you, like whatever time, if you're Tuesday at 1:00 or whatever
Right.
it is. Yeah, they work with your schedule, and then you get to have your therapy session here in the school.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
really good,
It's great.
especially for people who maybe don't have transportation. That's
Yeah.
really, really, really good. I like that. Do you have any advice maybe for high school students who are struggling with mental health?
Yeah, I mean, just always reach out for help. There are so many different levels of help. And like I said, again, I'm going to keep pushing for advocating for our school counselors because they are trained professionals in mental health and they know all the resources that are available to students. But also, if you're at home and you want to access mental health services, you can always call or text 988. That's another resource that you can use, and it's newer, but it's really important for people to know about that you can use that to get help as well.
Right, because on our school IDs it says suicidal, so I feel
Yeah.
like people don't want to go ahead and text.
Yeah.
But I didn't even know you could text. That's really cool.
I didn't either.
Yeah, you can text them. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Different levels of help. So, I mean, school counselors can provide like short-term counseling sessions where you're just like a breakup, like you guys were talking about earlier. Like, I'm just really, really having a hard time with this breakup, and I just need a couple of times to go and talk to somebody until I get through it. Like, a school counselor can help with that without having to set up like long-term therapy with Creoaks or Family and Children's.
Right.
That's just short-term counseling. But if you have like grief, and that's another resource that we have is we have a contract with the Tristis Center here in Tulsa, which is a grief center, and they can do group therapy over grief. So if you've experienced loss, that's not something you recover from quickly. You're going to need long-term, ongoing counseling to get through that, and that's a resource that we can help set up for you.
Awesome. Well, we really do appreciate your time. We appreciate all these resources that you came and brought up to us. Y'all look like y'all have something to say? No? Okay. All right, Kenneth. Kenneth is
If you have a question, Kenneth, reach out to your school counselor.
Hey, look at that. She gave you the answer to your question without even trying.
Question for you.
Ah.
What do you do in those tough times?
For me personally,
Yeah,
Oh.
anything.
So Kenneth doesn't have a mic, so I'm going to restate his question. But he said, what does Miss Huggabaum do in her tough times?
So for me, I mean, I have my support system, just like you guys. I mean, I have like my people.
Right.
I'm married. I have a husband. I'm really close to my dad. I have colleagues that I work with. My boss, Mr. Pennington. I think you guys knew him as a principal, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He's the director of hope. He's a great person to talk to. So when I'm having a hard time, I talk to my people.
So what is hope?
Oh, well, I'm so glad you asked. So hope is the theory. It's the belief that your future will be better than today, and that you have a role in making that possible.
Right.
So if you just stop at the first part, which is the belief that your future will be better than today, that's just optimism. But the fact that you have a role to play in it makes it actionable, and that makes it hope.
Wow.
And so it's comprised of having a goal, pathway, which is how you're going to get to your goal, and the willpower to keep trying over and over and over, even when you face different barriers. So if your goal is to go to college, your pathway is you got to get a good score in your ACT or SAT, you've got to get good grades, you've got to apply, you got to do your FAFSA. Those are all
Right.
different pathways you get there. And then the willpower is just that feeling that you keep trying over and over and over and over until you get it.
Wow.
That's hope.
I really love that. I love that. So that's our podcast for today. We really hope that you guys enjoyed this podcast. You tuned in, you listened, you got something new out of it, and we will provide resources where you can see it. Link below. We'll figure something out so that you guys can have access to it. not only did you hear it, but you can see it and you can like find it really easily. We will see you next time on the Hawk Talk.